Love this. No, I like Mike McDaniel, but if the question is what you were supposed to ask, what this means for Herbert?
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is obviously incredibly physically gifted. He has good pedigree, he has good size, he has amazing arm talent, all of those things. I also think the following two statements are not opinion, they are just objective truth. Mm-hmm. Statement one, he has played his worst football in his biggest spots, most notably his 3 playoff games, the last 2, which were, for different reasons, historically bad games. And the other one, I guess, is a little opinion, but I think the numbers back it up. He does not appear to have improved, and in fact, he might have gone a little bit in the other direction since his second year. So much of Justin Herbert is this guaranteed superstar is based on his first year. He set the record for touchdown passes as a rookie, and his second year threw for 5,000 yards. It's like, oh my God. And those first 2 years, he averages 4,600 yards, 7.5 yards per attempt, and almost 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, which again, touchdown interception ratio now is still 3-to-1, but higher volume, obviously, and a better rating. And then in the 4 years since then, the volume has gone down and the efficiency hasn't gone up. Usually if we're going to cut the volume, we're going to become hyper efficient. That hasn't happened. And so he now gets another offensive coordinator, and this one, Brew, everybody thinks is an offensive genius. Head coach, mixed results. But you are running, if it looks the way it has looked every year of Herbert's career, flashes of brilliance ending in massive disappointment, you're running out of people to blame.
All right. This is utterly mind-boggling. I am going to attempt to remain as composed as is humanly possible in this moment. But I am telling you right now, it is going to be a challenge. This is so utterly insane because the same individual loses his composure at the mere suggestion that someone says, "Hey, Patrick Mahomes' statistical output is declining." He retorts with, "Yeah, but consider the injuries and the offensive line. And as long as you provide him with a reliable offensive line and receivers who can catch, then he is phenomenal." And you have to ask, are we being serious right now? Are we truly serious? We want to selectively employ statistics in this manner when evaluating Justin Herbert, who had a skilled coordinator and a reasonably adequate roster, and then contrast that with periods where coaches are literally being fired. He is dealing with injuries, or the entire team around him is injured, and then cite this as proof that he is actually regressing. Do you comprehend how utterly absurd and insane a declaration that is? Because if you apply that same logic consistently, then Patrick Mahomes has absolutely been regressing in 2023, 2024, and 2025. Yet, this person would reject that notion 100% because he has consistently rejected it. Justin Herbert is literally on track to being hit and pressured more than any other quarterback in the annals of NFL history. It is occurring at a genuinely alarming, insane rate. And then people express shock that his statistical numbers do not appear flawless. Throughout the entirety of last season, in 2024, Justin Herbert was managing a significant injury. He missed several games, or at least a half, I don't recall precisely. But he was literally dealing with his knee, his foot, plantar fasciitis, all these types of ailments. He did not have an outstanding roster surrounding him. It was decent enough. Okay. Then, in the playoff contest, his offensive line gets absolutely demolished. Justin Herbert is under pressure and duress more than any other quarterback, facing an elite Houston Texans defense. He doesn't have a spectacular game, and the narrative becomes that he simply cannot handle the moment. Justin Herbert did nothing incorrect in that game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did nothing wrong in his first ever playoff appearance. To continuously wield that game against him is insane. And then, in this most recent playoff game, his offensive line was an absolute catastrophe. It is remarkable that he even guided the team to the playoffs. We stated this prior to that game. If he were to win, he would have triumphed with historically the worst-graded offensive line in PFF history to ever win a playoff game. So once again, You are essentially asserting that he either must make history and win with the worst offensive line in PFF history, or he is simply not adequate. Do you understand how insane an argument that is? That Justin Herbert was simply not good enough against the New England Patriots, and that is why they lost. As if everybody else performed superbly, but he was the singular issue. And we must have a candid discussion about that. That is insane. That is utterly insane. His primary offensive weapon last season was a 5'11" rookie slot receiver. That is all he possessed. That is genuinely all he had. And you expect him to go on the road and defeat an elite Houston Texans defense, whose receivers, by the way, were literally allowing passes to slip through their fingers, leading to interceptions. Multiple interceptions were categorically not Justin Herbert's fault. All of this occurred while he was pressured on more dropbacks than Patrick Mahomes was against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. And people responded with comebacks like, well, that was a Super Bowl. It does not matter. When Patrick Mahomes was under siege in that Super Bowl, in both of his Super Bowl losses, people argued, well, his offensive line wasn't good enough. That's why he was under pressure. Okay, so then apply that identical logic to Justin Herbert, whether it's a wild card round, a divisional round, or the Super Bowl. Football is still football in that moment. Otherwise, you are suggesting that Patrick Mahomes was simply not good enough at handling pressure and the Super Bowl environment. And if you wish to claim, well, no, it was just that it was a Super Bowl, therefore it was against a superior team. Let's be clear. No one disputes how elite the Houston Texans defense is. Nobody does. In fact, we witnessed a continuation of that defense absolutely dominate Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, where Patrick Mahomes threw interception after interception. The consensus was that it wasn't his fault. Passes were dropped. One deflected off Travis Kelce. Oh, you mean similar occurrences to what potentially transpired with Justin Herbert against the Houston Texans? Oh, now you wish to introduce nuance? You know what I recall? I remember leading into that Texans game. The very commentator in question stated, I do not place the onus on Patrick Mahomes to find a way through this game. I place it on the shoulders of Andy Reid. That is precisely what he articulated. He said, if you are expecting Patrick Mahomes to have a great game, then that is the incorrect approach. This has to rest on the defense and on Andy Reid's shoulders. That is his direct quote. And yet the entire burden is placed on Justin Herbert's shoulders. It is all on Justin Herbert to navigate through the issues created by his receivers and his offensive line. Really? Well, that seems peculiar. That appears inconsistent. Well, Patrick Mahomes has won a Super Bowl. Again, that is irrelevant to this specific argument. We are discussing the mechanics of winning a football game. That is perpetually the deflection people desire to introduce. Imagine caring about comparing Justin Herbert to a 3-time Super Bowl champion. That is not the conversation. That is a nifty sleight of hand trick you are performing. But we are discussing logical consistency here. That is the topic. How about the fact that Justin Herbert, among all the great players and quarterbacks, has unequivocally and without a shadow of a doubt endured the worst coaching, the most unfortunate injury luck, both personally and for his team, and has had the fewest Pro Bowl selections and elite pieces surrounding him? No question. It is not even up for debate. It is not remotely a conversation. The Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, they have all, to completely varying degrees, done a significantly better job of supporting their franchise quarterbacks than the Los Angeles Chargers have for Justin Herbert. It is not even debatable. Examine the sheer volume of Pro Bowlers and All-Pros that the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, and Eagles have consistently fielded. And yes, it fluctuates season to season. Absolutely, the Bills' supporting cast was not as strong this year. In some prior seasons, it was better. At times, the coaching has been superior. At other times, specifically regarding the offensive coordinator role for Josh Allen, it has been lacking. People discuss Lamar Jackson's situation, and again, everything varies to different extents. So, this is just insane. It truly, genuinely is. In the 2023 season, the Chargers team completely fell apart to the point where people kept asserting, oh, see, Kellen Moore is not good. And it's like, no, actually he is. The team collapsed. That is not Kellen Moore's fault. And they insist, no, he's just not. He's a bad coordinator. Then he proceeded to go to the Philadelphia Eagles, a healthy squad, and they won the Super Bowl, which also highlights just how injury-ravaged and dysfunctional the 2023 Chargers were. I mean, it is simply breathtaking how we contort narratives. It genuinely is. It really, really is. I mean, Justin Herbert in the 2022 season, with just average, across-the-board average, coaching and roster, and also plenty of subpar elements, threw for the second most passing yards in the league. 4,739 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like, what exactly are we attempting to discuss here? And shockingly enough, he was number 1 in the NFL in dropbacks under pressure. To provide context, he had 1 second-team All-Pro on defense and 2 Pro Bowlers on defense. That is what Justin Herbert had to work with. But Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. He had no help. Really? Patrick Mahomes had 5 All-Pros and 6 Pro Bowlers on his roster that season. Obviously, the numbers differ because Mahomes himself was an All-Pro and Pro Bowler. Really? Travis Kelce, Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, Chris Jones. Really? Really? I can elevate my voice even higher in disbelief. This is the narrative we are constructing here. This is what we are inventing. That is pretty interesting. And then Justin Herbert in 2023, when he sustained his injury and only participated in 13 games, and again, the roster around him was disintegrating. Coaches were literally being fired. He passed for 3,100 yards, a 65.1% completion rate, 20 touchdowns, and was ranked as the 9th highest graded quarterback, mind you, actually ranked higher than Patrick Mahomes that particular year. But you know, we are not permitted to discuss that. We are not allowed to talk about that. It is forbidden. We can only apply such analysis to other quarterbacks. And then in 2024, with Justin Herbert ranked as the 4th highest graded quarterback, you claim that his numbers are not showing greater efficiency, that we are asking him to do less, yet his efficiency is not improving? A 65.9% completion percentage. He did not pass as frequently in 2024, yet still threw for 3,870 yards, just shy of 4,000, with 23 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. And somehow that is not more efficient? A 101.7 passer rating. What? Like what? Again, what are we doing here? What are we fabricating and inventing? And then, in a season where Justin Herbert had the worst graded offensive line, he achieved a PFF rating as the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. And when you examine dropbacks under pressure, the clear outlier is Justin Herbert. Everyone else is situated around, for example, Matthew Stafford at 200, Joe Burrow at 186, though Burrow should likely be excluded as he didn't play the full season, so effectively he's 8th. Brock Purdy is similar. Patrick Mahomes, 228 dropbacks under pressure. Jordan Love, 192. Josh Allen, 203. Dak Prescott, 230. Justin Herbert, 263. And that was with him not playing the final game of the season. It would have been even higher, 270, 280. It is fundamental mathematics. Sam Darnold, 180. Jalen Hurts, 193. Jared Goff, 224. He is the sole outlier among the top quarterback ratings whose pressure count is astronomical. I am going to transform this into a separate video because I quickly performed the calculations and it is simply so illustrative. I am going to create a graphic. So, I will post this video today and then produce another one tomorrow. But just so we are unequivocally clear, we are examining Justin Herbert. And now the commentator is claiming that Justin Herbert is regressing and moving backwards. Patrick Mahomes' completion percentage over the last 3 years, 65.8%. Patrick Mahomes' passing yards, 3,899. So, essentially identical. Touchdown to interception ratio. Patrick Mahomes at 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes' passer rating, 91.8. Therefore, if you are asserting that Justin Herbert is regressing and you are running out of individuals to blame, I suppose you must articulate the same about Patrick Mahomes. I am so sorry. You must apply the logic consistently. You have to be uniform in your application. Those are simply the literal rules of logic. If 1 + 1 2, then 2 + 1 3. If 1 + 1 = 2, then 2 1 = 1. You cannot selectively choose when to apply logic, trends, statistics, etc. So, if you wish to declare that you believe Justin Herbert is regressing and not acknowledge the multitude of external factors at play, Well, then you must absolutely state that Patrick Mahomes is regressing. It is simply a fact. It is just a fact. And if you want to retort, well, that is an unfair conversation because Patrick Mahomes has won Super Bowls and achieved higher levels of success, I will counter by saying that Patrick Mahomes has never performed under coaching as deficient or with rosters as poor as those Justin Herbert has endured. Justin Herbert did not receive the benefit of being drafted by Andy Reid, having Travis Kelce, having Tyreek Hill, etc., etc., etc. So we can continue revolving in these circles all day. But those are merely my perspectives. I would absolutely adore hearing yours. What do you all think about the notion of Justin Herbert regressing and running out of excuses? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's engage in some discussions. Let's engage in some debates. But ultimately, let's just enjoy the discourse. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you as part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we are genuinely excited to be part of. I think we are well on our way to accomplishing it. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so very much. See you next time.